You wake up. You go through the motions. You check off tasks that someone else would be proud of. But inside, there's this quiet flatness. Not sadness, not even laziness, just distance. Like you're watching your own life through glass. You tell yourself you need more discipline, more motivation. But what if that's not the problem at all? Here's what it actually feels like. You can do the work. You've done it before. But it doesn't light anything up inside you. You finish a project and feel nothing. You hit a goal and the only thought is, okay, what's next? It's not that you don't care. It's that nothing feels like yours. Your days are full of borrowed priorities, things you should want, paths that made sense on paper. And psychologists have a name for this. It's called external locus of identity, when your sense of self is shaped more by outside expectations than internal truth. You're living in a script someone else wrote, and your brain knows it. But here's what most people miss. This isn't laziness. It's not even lack of ambition. It's your psyche trying to protect something, your authentic self. Beneath all the productivity and performance, there's a part of you that refuses to invest energy into a life it doesn't recognize. Motivation isn't a battery that runs out. It's a signal. And right now, it's telling you something important. Let me explain how this works in your brain. There's a part of your limbic system called the nucleus accumbens. It's your brain's motivation center. But here's the key. It doesn't just respond to rewards. It responds to personally meaningful rewards. When you work towards something that reflects your values, your identity, your actual desires, dopamine flows, not because you're chasing pleasure, but because your brain recognizes the goal as self-concordant. It feels like you. Now imagine the opposite. You're chasing goals that sound good, that look impressive, that everyone agrees are smart, but they don't connect to who you actually are. Your nucleus accumbens stays quiet. No dopamine, no drive, not because you're broken, but because your brain is incredibly wise. It will not waste energy on a life it doesn't believe in. This is called motivational incongruence, and it shows up as that hollow, numb feeling you can't shake. So how do you fix this? Not with discipline, not with harder goals, with repersonalization, making your life feel like yours again. Here are 5 principles, rooted in psychology. 1. Audit for introjection. Introjection is a term from psychodynamic theory. It means swallowing someone else's values whole, without digesting them, without asking, do I actually want this? Sit down with your goals. Ask, if no one would ever know I did this, would I still want it? If the answer is no, you've found an introjected goal. It doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's not yours, and your brain will never fully fuel it. 2. Reconnect to intrinsic interests. Self-determination theory tells us humans need 3 things to feel motivated: autonomy, competence, relatedness. Most people focus on competence, getting better, achieving more. But autonomy is the one that brings things back to life. Autonomy means you chose it. So ask yourself, what did I love before I learned what I was supposed to love? What pulls my attention when no one's watching? Those aren't distractions. They're clues. Your brain is trying to show you what feels real. 3. Create micro-authorship. You don't need to rebuild your whole life. You just need to start authoring small pieces of it. Psychologist Dan McAdams talks about identity as a narrative. You are the story you tell about yourself. But if you're only performing someone else's script, the narrator goes silent. So create tiny moments of ownership. Choose one meal this week based purely on what you want. Not what's healthy, not what's fast. What sounds good to you. Rearrange one corner of your room in a way that feels right. Not aesthetic, not minimal, right. These are small, but they train your brain to recognize your own voice again. 4. Tolerate the identity gap. Here's the hard part. When you start living more personally, there's often a gap between who you've been and who you're becoming. Psychologists call this identity disruption. It feels uncomfortable, sometimes even guilty, because the people around you are used to the old version, and you might be too. But that discomfort isn't a sign you're doing it wrong. It's a sign you're doing it right. Growth always includes a period of not recognizing yourself. Let it be awkward. 5. Shift from achievement to alignment. Most motivational advice says, set big goals, break them down, execute. But that only works if the goal is aligned. Alignment means this goal reflects my actual values, not my aspirations to be impressive, not what I think I should want. Psychologist Ken Sheldon found that people who pursue self-concordant goals experience more vitality, more sustained motivation, more well-being, not because the goals are easier, but because they're truer. So instead of asking, what should I achieve? Ask, what would make my life feel like mine? That's your North Star. Integration. Let me bring this together. Motivation is not a discipline problem. It's a signal from your deepest self. And when your life doesn't feel personal, when it's built from borrowed blueprints and external validation, your brain quietly withdraws its energy, not to punish you, to protect you, because you are not a machine meant to optimize someone else's definition of success. You are a human being with a specific shape, specific longings, a specific way of being alive. And when you start honoring that, when you make even small choices that feel true, the motivation comes back, not as a surge, as a hum. Steady, quiet, real. You don't need to burn it all down. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to start listening to the part of you that knows what feels right, even if it's inconvenient, even if it doesn't make sense yet. Your life is allowed to be yours, not impressive, not optimized, just honest. And when it is, you won't need to force yourself to care. You'll already be awake,